Fallout 76, is it any good? How does it compare to the rest? And should you play it in 2024? Well, we're here to help you decide what to do with your money. You could just give it to us. Well, first, today's video is sponsored by NordVPN, the best VPN service in the world. Protect yourself and your family from the raiders and bandits of the internet, and use our code in the description to save money on your purchase and support the channel. Now, getting into things. Should we talk about the story first of Fallout 76?
I'd firstly like to say, what story? Because it's terrible.
Yes, we have been playing Fallout 76 recently, as a lot of people have been playing the Fallout games because of the resurgence of it. And we have got to say, there is no story. It is just blindly spamming the button to skip dialogue to dialogue because it is bland, boring, and unoriginal.
Yeah, there's as much story as there is games on PlayStation. It's terrible, man. There's nothing. It's just nothing. It's just, I mean, like the place is cool to run around in. Don't get me wrong. It's a great map to run around in. It is a little bit bare, but at least it looks nice. But I'm definitely not excited to go. Oh, let's do the main story. Come on, there's so many other side things you can do, miscellaneous quests that you can do. It's just so much better because you actually get to talk to actual human beings and other monsters.
Essentially, the story just has you running around from place to place in search of the Overseer. The typical Bethesda Fallout game, Fallout 3 must find Dad, Fallout 4 must find Son, Fallout 76 must find the Overseer, and pretty much you're just running around place to place. There are no NPCs because, well, there are NPCs now, but there were no NPCs for the actual story because they didn't have NPCs when the game released. So you're just running around place to place, looking at terminals, listening to holotapes, and it's just doing nothing. Essentially, it's boring, it's bland, everything is dead. It's just terrible. It is terrible. It is not only is the worst Fallout story, it's, I'd say, one of the worst stories I've ever played. Period.
Yeah, a real stupid, decision on their part to initially not have NPCs in Fallout because that was actually one of the biggest, one of their biggest things for is that the characters were always amazing, especially in New Vegas. There's obviously a lot of people in New Vegas who would add that the map was a little bit barren. There weren't as many things to do, but the characters made up for that drastically because they were all very interesting, cool characters to play with and see how your actions would affect them. But there was none initially. There was none of that in Fallout 76. I don't know, when did they actually decide to add NPCs into the game? When was it again?
I believe they added NPCs in 2021 during the Wastelander update. And even then, when they added NPCs, they still managed to fuck it up because there is pretty much no dialogue. The dialogue does not matter. Charisma does not matter. Nothing matters.
Very boring. You can steal whatever you want from them. They do not care. You could probably shoot them in the face. They would thank you for it. Give you a couple caps on the side. It's incredibly boring. There was
You're unable.
always a big thing with Fallout is that you got to team. You got to choose when to fight and when not to fight, and when to steal and be nice to people and when not to. But there's none of that in the game, which is
Yeah,
pretty dumb.
yeah. In this game, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can barely kill any of this, like the NPCs. The dialect choices really don't matter. I mean, I don't even know what they're saying half the time because I'm just sat there fucking clicking away trying to get through the dialogue. And then also the missions that these NPCs brought are the most fetch quest missions on the planet. I'm talking going back and forth from the same two places multiple times. It is bland, boring, unoriginal, the worst thing. I don't get how they managed to fuck up adding NPCs into their game when they've been adding NPCs into their game since fucking since Elder Scrolls.
And it's ridiculous because if the map was actually really fun to go around in and not just kind of boring, then yeah, fast traveling you wouldn't be as up to it. But all we do because of how boring these fetch quests are is just teleport, and they make it cost caps now. as well. It's that was a really another stupid decision.
Getting into gameplay though, I'd say the gunplay best gunplay in a Fallout game ever. The fact that they have pretty much every gun from all the Fallout in this game is very cool. There's a lot of weapon variety. Fuck, you can use a musket. You can be like me and have that big iron on your hip.
Yeah, and he only weighs about 200 tons from the ammo it carries.
Yeah.
And it only takes 60 years to reload, but when he hits you, it takes off the body part. I'll say that.
Like there's a lot when it comes, like, as Mitch knows, you got melee. They may actually make melee a proper thing.
Melee is fun. There's a lot of melee weapons you can get, and a lot of variety to them as well.
Like what?
It feels just fun to run around like a maniac with a bunch of psycho and jet on, hitting the guy over the head with a baseball bat and watching his head explode. Gotta say, very fun.
Yeah, when it comes to get like weapon play, it's brilliant. VATS, I won't lie, it was very controversial. Obviously, VATS would always freeze time, but obviously this is a multiplayer game, so you can't.
The VAT button.
Yeah, but I quite like having VATS play in real time. It does make it easy. I do just cheese my way through everything with VATS.
You say you've always done that in the Fallout games, don't you? It's the best feature for the gameplay wise in Fallout is the VAT.
Yeah. What else when it comes to gameplay?
The
The
perks.
perks, yes.
The perks. That's a different system for it, really. I don't know how I feel on it. I know you actually quite enjoy it, don't you?
I quite enjoy it, being able to pick and choose perks. I change my build just on the go, whenever I feel like it.
That is a big positive. I do really enjoy that because I feel like having to be like do a new game plus or like get to a ridiculously high level to change the way you play the game is always just a very limiting thing, especially for a game like Fallout that has so many weapons and so many different variety of weapons as well.
Yeah, I personally quite like it. I think it's very easy to understand. Essentially, whenever you level up, you can put a point into obviously one of your special. You put a point into your special, you're able to get a card. That card it will have the effects and abilities just like in Fallout 4 and New Vegas. And when you can level up these cards and just make yourself a fucking insane build of a character, like I find it very fun and understandable. Like I found Fallout 4's to be very confusing and also quite irritating because it would lock you behind. Like, if you wanted the, like, I don't know, to be able to pick locks, but you didn't put enough points into special, then you couldn't do that. Whereas in this, you don't start off with a special certain like points you need to put in. As you level up, you're able to put as many points into whatever. You can be a fucking psycho and run around with 50 agility and 1 on everything else.
Yeah, that is a very nice feature to never be limited by your, when you have so many options, it's nice to never have to be limited.
Yeah.
Unlike obviously in Fallout 4. I don't mind the perks. I think. I mean, I do like how you can be very like heavily one thing on. Obviously, I know you can do a lot of the other games, but you always have to have a couple of other things. So in this game, you can be heavily one-sided on a perk. You can, like you said, 50 agility, run around wherever, never tire out. I do quite like that because some builds like that are always just fun, especially for my melee build. I'm loving it at the moment. My melee build. I've got bonus damage on fit, just unarmed or fist weapons, single-handed, baseball bats. I can carry a bunch of shit. My bats don't break, or my melee weapons don't break. I can fix them very easily as well. This is nice shit.
I think the most important feature of the gameplay is the multiplayer. Now, this is the first Fallout game to have multiplayer. There's only 18 people in a server, but you and your friends can, go into this and like have fun. And I will say, Without multiplayer, I would not be playing this game. 100%.
Yep. Very, very true. Yep. Also same. Yeah, it was a big, risk, a very different thing for, especially for a Bethesda game. And I mean, initially, I don't think they done it too well. Definitely not. But after getting back into this game again, I will say it's very enjoyable. My biggest frustration with it is when you go into any fucking building and there's the option of either entering solo or helping your teammate out. But it's help the teammate out button is the regular button you use for opening doors. So I'd constantly be missing out on missions because I kept entering in with Thomas.
I will say I find it very frustrating how you and your teammate could be doing the same mission, but there isn't a way of being able to do the same mission at the same time. Like for instance in Ghost Recon, where you join your friend's world and you'll be doing their missions all together. But in this, if you join your friend's squads, you can't exactly do the same missions as each other.
Yeah.
You can do them together at the same time, but there are certain points that will require you to go solo, and that's just kind of annoying. Like if it's a multi game, you want to be able to do all the stuff with your friends.
Mm. And especially for the number of fetch quests they have, you'd think like, because then you can split up and go get the one material you need and the one material your other mate needs, and then you can meet back up at the place and then combine them together to get the one thing for the mission instead of having to both collect the materials yourselves and then go do. It's just really frustrating. I don't know why you'd even think about doing it like that, because especially if you're like a higher up level and your friend's just getting into the game, it's kind of frustrating when you have to do things on your own.
Yeah. Well, I think, let's answer the question. Well, is the game fun? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
100%. The game is fun. I mean, not only just for what you can do with your friends, bugs, glitches. I had a super mutant use a missile launcher as a close quarters weapon. Send me flying.
If you could get that if you could get that clip up, he missed 2 VAT shots, 95% on both of them, and the guy turned around and blew his fucking head.
So the game is 100% fun. Now, is it worth your money? If you've got friends, yes. If you're buying this game just solo, no. Go play Fallout 4. Go play New Vegas. This game is definitely fun with friends. On your own, it's a chore and it's a bore.
Especially if you have Game Pass. And also, another great thing is the constant events for the multiplayer as well, I must say. There's always something going on. So if you have friends that want to play a Fallout game and you want to play it together, that is a great. I mean, I remember me and Tom played the Monster Mash event. That shit was well fun because you actually just got to kill each other. Especially my great melee build as well. Just bludgeoned him in the head every time. It was amazing.
Well, if you did find this useful and helpful, please subscribe, drop a like, go buy some NordVPN, help out the channel, and we will see you I don't know, some other time.